Hey, Shalom, Meshwan. I want to start off souls by giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Double honors to Apostle GMS and honors to brothers that are doing the work in truth, sincerity. I just want to bring out this quick one. You must have heard it by now, so it's been out for a while now. I just couldn't find any other sources, so I wasn't too sure whether to bring it out or not. But this is the most reliable source that I've seen it come from. Apparently, there's a news article also on a news bulletin on it, but you got to be careful with some of this information, especially the sources and that a load of shitty news everywhere. But as you can read on the title, it says tech company offers freaky microchip implants to employees, and freaky is it's one of the words, but destructive is another one, because if you take this chip you're going to be destroyed. That's the scriptures, right? Now you've got a lot of it over here in the in Europe. It's quite a big thing. They're a lot more open to it. You've got a lot of Bible-Belt Americans who won't like this idea at all. And over here, the people who won't be wanting to take it are the ones that are conscious of those conscious of security, because obviously these things ain't too secure. They're always marketed as being such, but they really aren't. So it says 3 Square Market, a Wisconsin-based vending machine company, announced today it will become the first U.S. company to implant microchip in some of its employees. Now, currently it's voluntary, if I'm not mistaken. I won't read the whole article. You can read it for yourself. But there'll come a time when these things aren't voluntary, but are mandatory. Right now, this company is trying to make themselves into, pioneers, which is why you could argue they've chosen to do this. However, right, what's going to happen, then you're going to have the bigger companies saying, okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, let us do it too. They're going to say, oh yeah, we found it's more secure, this, that, and the other, which is bullshit. Just like with your credit card, if you got one of them contactless ones, that can be cloned by just standing right next to you, right? So I'm going to get into the scriptures. Alright, it says Mark 13:33 says, take ye heed, watch and pray, for you know not when the time is. Now I bring this up because we're waiting for the Lord, scripture say, to hasten the day, and we're hastening that day, hoping that the Lord comes back real soon. And this here is an indicator that the Lord is coming back soon, because like the scripture says, we don't know when the time is. However, this is a good indicator, because that's one of the last prophecies that will happen before, when this chip gets pushed mandatory, then we know for sure that the Lord is coming back. Then we know for sure that our salvation is yet this day at hand. Alright, so I'll get the next scripture also, similar things. The 2nd Ezra 9:1 says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I told thee before, then shalt thou understand that that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And you're seeing that, right? It goes on to list some, earthquakes, uproars of the people. You're seeing these things all over the world, right? Venezuela, you got uproars. I think a couple places in Latin America, you've got uproars, right? Because this is surely the time when the Lord is coming back to visit the earth which he made, right? I'm gonna close it off with the usuals. Revelation 13:16 says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right? And we as you can tell, this chip in this company won't, if you don't have it, because they like to say that it's not about commerce, and they like to say the chip, mark of the beast is this, that, and the other, but the word mark is charagma in the Greek, which means incision, and this is exactly what this chip is, right? So, like I said, I just wanted to bring that out real quick, and as always, we would all use edified, and with that, we'll say, Shalom.